Thanks for staying with us. Now, the National Youth Service Corps program, created in 1973 by the Nigerian government, was born out of a desire to mend the deep wounds left by the Nigerian Civil War and to foster a sense of national unity. Now, for nearly 5 decades, graduates of higher education institutions have been mandated to participate in this year-long program. However, as we reflect on the past 50-plus years of the NYSC, it is crucial to also critically examine whether the program has truly achieved its intended goals. Have we witnessed a tangible increase in the national unity and healing as a result of the NYSC, or have the original objectives been lost in the bureaucracy and challenges of implementation? Nigerians can no longer afford to continue to use their children as sacrificial animals for a program that has, for more than half a century now, failed to achieve this aim, if it has failed, and for a country whose leaders only pay lip service to its unity, according to some people. Now, the federal government has a constitutional duty to protect the lives and the property of her citizens, especially the youths who they claim are the leaders of tomorrow, and all law-abiding persons who live within her territory. The government has even greater obligations to ensure that the youths who they send out to these different parts of the country for a national service are safe throughout the program. Well, that said, I'm now being joined by my guests who will join me to discuss this, and that's Femi Adeyeye, the co-convener, Fund Education Coalition. Thank you so much, Femi, for joining us, and compliments.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Compliments of the season to you and to Nigerians listening in. Thank you very much.
All right. Now, Femi, I think that it's safe to start off by asking, looking at the intention of the NYSC program since its inception in 1973, would we say that the program has successfully promoted the national integration and understanding among the diverse ethnic groups existing in Nigeria?
All right. I think that question is a bit rhetorical, and it is also a bit not rhetorical. And I say that considering the reason why it was, established in the first place. And this was after the Civil War that ended in 1970, even though some people still believe that the war has not ended. But at least there was some kind of ceasefire and some kind of surrender. And so in 1973, through a decree, the NYSC was established. And the interests, or let me say the reason for establishing it, was the fact that they want to reintegrate, Nigerian young people and use the young people to get to the older people so that we can forge ahead as a country, with unity and what have you. Like some of us, in our opinion, we used to say, or in our theory, we used to say that you cannot wish justice, you cannot wish peace, you cannot wish unity into the air. It has to be with concrete, policies that ensure economic, political, and social justice in the society. It is not by, sewing white and white on some kind of people and put them in a place for 3 weeks, and then you just think you've brought everybody together. If we do not go back to the issues that caused the Civil War in the first place, the quota system in our educational, system at that time, which is still very much, available with us. The social injustice, the political injustice. If we do not go back to address all of these issues, and we just think by bringing people together under 3 weeks in an orientation camp, and we then start, telling them to march up and down, teaching them the national orientation, many issues around national anthem, national pledge, and then after that, send them into a place that you're not sure of their safety for 1 year. And you just believe that with all this, people will become united. I think it is a policy that needs a lot of re-understanding, rejigging, so that we cannot just continue spending money, because a lot of money also go into this scheme. We spend money and we're not getting the results. Nigerians are not united. They are not as united as they used to be even in 1970, 1973, that the NYSC was decreed, because it was actually decreed. What we have today is you can see a lot of tribal bigotry, so much hatred, even online. Very recent examples of what even happened in Ondo State, and how people have so much ethnicized the whole thing and then make it about Yoruba, Igbo, and all that. And these things are actually coming from people who did NYSC. If it was coming from a market woman, you would say, okay, maybe she did not go to NYSC orientation camp. But the people who tweet this many hate speeches and all of that that you have on Twitter, all of them are graduates. So that is just a simple litmus test for the fact that this scheme has not made Nigerians united at all. So you cannot wish unity, you cannot forge unity in 3 weeks or even 1 year. It is until you address the issues that caused the civil war in the first place that now metamorphosed into the reason why you had to come up with this scheme. Until you address those issues, you're just joking. And so that is my review of the whole scheme.
So let's even say that the scheme has achieved some level of success, let's assume, given a guesstimate. When we compare the pros and the cons, what do you have to say?
No, maybe I should have those pros first. Let me see what you call pros. What are the advantage of?
I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate here.
I understand.
Okay, but given the intention, right? Given the intention, why the program was created in the first place, if at all, we went ahead with that program because of those intentions, right? And then comparing that to the level of insecurity and the number of lives that are being lost, at the moment. Can you say anything to that effect?
Yes, insecurity actually does not. People can get killed violently even without going for NYSC. Nigeria is so unsafe, and I'm saying this with all sense of responsibility. It's so unsafe that you can be in your house and get killed violently. Look at what happened in Kaduna. People were just celebrating Maulud, an Islamic festivity, and bomb was dropped on them by the military, not even by bandits, terrorists, and all that. So it does not. It's insecurity. It's not totally attached to a particular program as you have it. But then, if we look at it and we look at the policy, and how do we measure policy? We have that problem in this country. We don't measure policies to know that, okay, at this particular point, this policy is not working again. Can we just stop it? Or what else can we do to make it better? For example, I think the NYSC should be voluntary. Voluntary to the point that when you're done in school, you want to serve. Like, okay, I want to go to a particular place to serve for 1 year or 2 years. And it should be in form of some kind of recruitment into public service. And when I say voluntary, people would also say, yes, you can choose not to go for NYSC. No, voluntary to the extent that there will be no discrimination against people who don't go. In Nigeria today, if you do not go for NYSC, there's a level you can get to in public service, and there are so many discriminatory tactics around it. So it should be so voluntary to the point that there will be no discrimination. Let me be able to go because I want to go and teach in a primary school and somewhere like Enugu. I want to move down to Kaduna. I want to move that. Let it be out of the way, of people to go to those places. Let it not be, okay, it's compulsory when you're done, so that you can put on white and white, you can take pictures, and you can go on excursion, and no, it shouldn't be like that. So those are the things that government must look at as reformists. But on a revolutionary level, you must address the injustice, the economic, social, and political injustice that made you think about NYC in the first place. Those are the things. Many people will tell you, yes, there are advantages. Yes, you will get to know more about your country. But let me tell you, you can know about your country without going for NYC.
All right, I think we've lost Femi's connection. We'll go ahead to take a few tweets, and we're hoping that we have him back because we're going to discuss some of these tweets. Let's take a look at them. Now, someone says NYSC should be optional, just like Femi's trying to point out. Anybody who wants to do it is free to do so, but others should not be forced to risk their lives like this. Nigerians need to start fighting for their right to safety. Another person says, in response to, surprisingly, northern NYSC camps are better than other region camps in Nigeria. So someone else says, the problem is not the camp. The problem is safety getting in and out of NYSC camp in the north, which is very valid. Another person says, it's been 3 months now since 8 Nigerian corps members were abducted by a terrorist group in Zamfara State, demanding 4 million naira ransom for each, and nothing has been done to ensure their safety. But here is the same NYSC organizing another batch for orientation courses. All right. Well, those are some of the tweets that we got there. Femi, please confirm that you're still with us. Femi, are you there? All right. Femi is still frozen, so let's take a look at some more tweets while we wait for him to join us. Now, another person says, it's really disturbing that nothing is being done about the kidnapping of the NYSC members from Akwa Ibom State. The government's lack of care for the safety of these young people is deeply upsetting. Ajani Ibirunke says, scrap the NYSC or reform it. If you can't guarantee the youth corps safety, consider the aged parents' hopes on their investment, stop endangering lives, check China, UK, US, India, Singapore. They have undergraduate internship. And this one says, NYSC should be scrapped until the safety of people's children can be guaranteed. All right, well, these are some of the concerns of the youth, of course, in Nigeria. And someone did make a valid point. Some of these other countries do not exactly have the National Youth Service Corps, but they have internships. And when we're talking about job opportunities, for example, over the years, we haven't exactly had a good number of jobs. Yeah, once, I mean, you can count like a few persons who got retained after, serving in different companies, but that seldom happens. So when we're talking about job, security, it is not also a guarantee that going for these programs will give you a job. In fact, some people will say that that 1 year that you use in going for the NYSC program is enough time to find a good enough job. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you serve and then you go for CDS for weeks and weeks. And at the end of the day, you have to leave where your primary place of assignment is, and then you now start all over looking for jobs. So a lot of people are of the opinion that rather than having youths going for these programs, like someone said, some regions might actually be safe, but going out and coming in of those regions is the problem. And I remember some years ago, I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago, that a memo was actually sent out, people had to check for the veracity of that memo, that the memo came from, I think, the NYSC or something like that, where they actually put out a memo saying that if you're going for the NYSC, you have to be careful and things like that. And somewhere in that memo, there was a provision, there was a place where they said you have to make your ransom available. Now, till now, people are still trying to check the veracity, but if that is true, then the NYSC is toast, if that is the situation. I want to check quickly if we still have Femi with us. Femi, please confirm you can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so we have gone through some of the tweets that we had. I really would have loved for you to listen in on them, but I would try to pick what some of these people said. And I think my major question, something I just mentioned now, is what is the guarantee that going for these programs would even, because sometimes some people will say that aside the integration, cultural, bringing people from different diverse cultures together to, meet, there's also a possibility that it gives you jobs. But at the end of the day, we've tried to check the statistics, and there is actually no guarantee. The number is not in favor of getting enough jobs when you finish your NYSC program. Some people consider it a waste of time. That 1 year having to work in a company, and then you leave the company, and then you now start afresh looking for a job. So some people are of the opinion that it actually gives you, job opportunities, but some say it's a waste of time. What is your opinion in that regard when it comes to employment opportunities?
Yeah, if actually it was working and giving people jobs and all that, we won't have 50% unemployment, youth unemployment rates in Nigeria today. 50%, 33% overall, or 50% for youth unemployment. So because we're talking about NYSC now, so it's not working. That you have one particular testimony somewhere, one person who did NYSC and then got a job, and then we just use that as a we use that as an outlier to say, okay, yes, that means people are doing well, or NYSC is actually helping people with, as in the scheme is helping with employability and all of that. I think our problem in this part of the world is we look for short fixes, how to fix issues just quickly. We need to go back to the roots of what is causing unemployment, what is causing economic instability, what is causing political instability, that is even causing this insecurity in these places. Until you look at this whole thing holistically, you can't start cherry picking on different issues and different problems or different policies. All these policies they work together, they are intertwined. So the NYSC as of today has not, and except anybody comes with the contrary statistics, it has not proven to be a scheme that helps people with jobs. People go to school, study to become civil engineers, become, mechanical engineers, doctors, and all that. But then you take them back to a camp and then you sit them down and you say they should come and study how to do tie and dye. They tell them that, they cannot become entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurship in Nigeria is not you solving a particular problem. It's just for you to become a trader. You become, you learn tie and dye, you learn clothing, you learn all those things, and then we've taught them how to be employable. Now they can become their own bosses. It's actually demeaning. It's actually demeaning that after 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, people after studying, you bring them under one course, and then you're teaching them to become informal workers at the end of the day. So this scheme has not proven, to be a scheme that helps, employability or that gets people employed.
Okay, finally, Femi, now that we have established the fact that it's not exactly very necessary to have the NYSC program, do you think that there are any potential consequences of scrapping the program?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think what government should do, first of all, is to legitimize it. For me, I still feel the NYSC is not still legitimate because it actually came into effect as a result of a decree. It didn't go through full parliamentary procedure that would involve the people, that the people can say, yes, we want this scheme. That would be debated at the People's Parliament, the National Assembly. Remember that it was just a decree 24 of 1973. That was what brought NYSC into. So once somebody just thought it within himself and said, let's do this. So I think it should be rediscussed. NYSC should be rediscussed. It is not a totally bad idea, only that we can make it, number one, voluntary. We can make it more of a people-oriented program to the point that people get involved with their community at free will, and not because they just need, because already in their head they are planning to get somewhere in their career, so they have to go and do NYSC. No, it shouldn't be so. It should be out of their free will. It should be voluntary, like I said. It should be, in fact, job corps. I belong to a political affiliation that believes that instead of NYSC, it should be what we should call it, a job corps, where people just where they come and then you fix them up. You fix them up to different jobs. Before this time, when people graduate at different universities, they used to tell us that these companies will come and look for you. But today, it's not happening anymore.
I don't think anybody even says that to us anymore, because the reality is setting.
Don't worry, before at your 400 level, they will come for you. But nobody comes for anybody.
That was then. All right. Okay. Femi, thank you so much, co-convener Fund Education Coalition. Thank you for joining us to discuss this. And we do hope that the government does the right thing, because really it's alarming, the rate at which people are losing their lives because of this program. So we really do hope that there is a solution to it at the end of the day. And if there isn't, then, like you said, there's no loss in it. There's nothing to lose. So thank you so much, Femi, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the rest of your day. All right, you're still live with us on Fafanoa Africa, and very shortly we'll be going straight to our creativity series, where we have amazing guests who'll be joining us on the show, and we'll be talking about creativity from their lenses. Stay with us.